Welcome to Education Today. I'm Chris Garatano of the Armstrong School District. Tonight we have a special show planned for you. Through various contributions and the help and dedication of many people, West Shamokin High School has been upgraded with a professional-grade TV studio for their TV production classes and for the production of their morning announcements. Later in the show, we're going to show some sneak peek footage of the studio in action and talk about how the studio came together and how the upgrades were able to come about. We'll be bringing on to our show tonight our very own film crew for tonight's production, the West Shamokin High School TV production students, to tell us about their new studio and equipment. We also will bring on another very important person in this process. Let's start with our first guests. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Would you please introduce yourself for our viewers?
I'm Nancy Jo Williams, and I'm a senior at West Shamokin High School.
I'm Chrissy Williams, and I'm a senior at West Shamokin also.
I'm Tanner Strout, and I'm also a senior at West Shamokin.
Okay, guys. Now, what made you guys decide to take TV production? Let's start there.
Well, I always liked filming, and I was really interested in it, so I just thought it would be a good class to kind of get the full aspect of it.
Okay.
I like acting, so I always wanted to do TV production to see what goes on behind the scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, figure out what happens behind the scenes.
Okay. Well, with this new equipment that we're going to talk about tonight, I think that'll give you guys a little bit more experience of trying to help simulate what we do down here at the TV studio as well, where you have the equipment to actually use and to kind of work through those behind-the-scenes type of work. So, were any of you aware of the previous setup down at West Shamokin prior to what we've been able to do this year?
No, not really. I just seen it on the TV in the morning announcements, but I didn't know how anything was set up or how they ran the audio, video, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, now this year you started with kind of a basic setup that had been used in the past, and now we've started to make that transition over the last couple of weeks to get you guys into this new equipment that we're bringing in. Between how you guys started at the beginning of the year doing your announcements and how you're doing them now, what are the differences in what you did then, and kind of compare that to how it is set up now?
Well, before we had one camera set up on one tripod, and it was just run directly to the TV and then announced. Whereas now we kind of have two cameras set up and we can transition between people, and it's just more interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really nice that now we can add text to what we're doing on the announcements.
I think there are a lot more possibilities because now instead of holding a flag in front of the camera and it shaking, we can just put a picture in there and it'll be a lot more clear.
Right. Okay. Now, do you think that the exposure to more and better equipment will kind of help the class down at West Shamokin grow? I mean, I know now you guys talked about how it's going to be like more visually appealing, and you guys can do more things with it. But do you think that exposure in the school scene that's going to help the class grow a little bit?
I definitely think so, because everybody in the school sees the announcements. Everybody sees the videos that the TV production class makes, and if they're better and better quality, I think that'll be like, oh, I want to do that. So I think that'll help the class expand.
I think that information-wise, for the class itself, it's going to help it tremendously because before we got the new equipment, we were just learning about camera shots and briefly going over like what's in our TV production studio, what used to be in there,
right,
which wasn't a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we have the Telecaster, we just have so much more stuff to learn about. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I think the new equipment is a lot better because now people are going to want to watch it and want to figure out how to do that themselves and just grow on the class.
Sure.
Exactly.
I mean, I know the goal from my standpoint when I was trying to get this upgrade for you guys was to try to get to the point where you guys were a little bit more challenged. You had more things to do than just being able to go out and shoot some camera angles or some video footage and editing it. Now you have something that you can kind of go back and build into it. And really, you guys are kind of like the guinea pig this year, so to speak, because this is what we're hoping to do moving forward with our TV production classes at the other buildings at some point. So I guess we'll kind of wrap up with you guys with your favorite part about the class and the different kind of things you guys have learned in these first 9 weeks.
My favorite part is actually getting out there and filming, and kind of experimenting and learning about the new stuff. We learned about camera shots, and now we're learning how to adjust to this new equipment, which is a challenge all on its own. So my favorite part is getting out there and being able to edit and review and look over stuff.
My favorite part is running the Telecaster. I love it. At first I was very confused asking you all these questions, but it's so interesting. I would have never guessed that I would ever be running something like that in my life because, I'm the blonde one. But, so it makes me feel good about myself that I can run something like that.
Good.
My favorite part is now that we got the new equipment, it's going to be a lot easier to film projects and do stuff for the class, and it's a lot more clear now, and it's not as fuzzy, and I can actually want to do it now.
Sure. All right. We're going to take a short break and then come right back with more West Shamokin High School TV production students on Education Today. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name's Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Tonight, we are talking with students from West Shamokin High School about their new studio equipment. We are now joined by a few more students. Ladies, would you please introduce yourself for our viewers at home?
I'm Taylor Eastlick, and I'm a senior at West Shamokin.
And I'm Kayla Spencer, and I'm also a senior at West Shamokin.
What made you guys decide to take TV production?
Well, my cousin went to school for it. He actually went to the Olympics in Beijing, and he recorded them. So I guess what he did with it kind of inspired me to just get an idea of what he does.
Cool.
I chose to take TV production because it was something new that I never tried before, and I wanted to learn how things work behind the scenes because no one ever talks about that, and it'd be fun to learn.
Sure. First of all, pretty cool you have a cousin that got to go to the Olympics and record stuff. But yeah, this class is supposed to be that, kind of the outside of the box, different than your normal everyday class. And the goal and the hope was always to interest students who, much like you, just weren't sure what it was about, but wanted to try something new and something different outside the realm of your normal classroom stuff. So, now, were either of you aware, and I asked the other three this, how the morning announcements were done prior to this year?
No, I wasn't. I always watched them, but I never really had interest in it until last year, so no, I don't know.
Okay. It was a much different setup than what we've had in the past, and later on in the show, we're going to have a couple other guests on that we're going to talk about that difference because they've been there and saw how the announcements were done from especially as recently as last year to this year. But this year, you guys started with a basic setup. You moved into a new room. You started with a very basic setup in there, and now we introduced you guys to that new equipment. Recently over the last week or so, at this point anyway. What are the differences that you guys have seen in what was done? The first basically 2 months of school to what you guys are doing now.
Now we have 2 different cameras, and you can change it, and then people want to pay attention because they notice something's changed. And also, all the other things you told us that we can add is just going to make everyone pay more attention to the announcements.
Cool. All right.
It just makes the announcements better and makes them more fun to watch, and that you're looking at the person that's talking instead of the other person to see what they're doing.
All right. Now, with this new equipment, of course, there's new possibilities that will be opened up for you guys. And like I told the previous set of students, some of these are different things that I told you about already. We haven't gotten you guys to the point where you're actually doing them yet. But what do you guys hope to be able to do moving forward with the new equipment?
To be able to correctly learn how to use the equipment and be able to make our videos the best that they can be to our ability.
I'm most excited to add like videos that aren't live to the beginning of the announcements. That way, like something funny or fun that the students can get more involved in.
Sure. And you know, for those who may not know, you're referring to basically the option that I told you about, where you guys can create you know, an introduction for your morning announcements and, you know, play that back, store it in the system. Just more options than you guys were able to do previously. Now, do you think that the exposure to this more in, you know, better grade quality equipment will kind of help the classes grow down there? It might be too early to really hear anybody talking in the hallway about the differences, but do you guys see the possibility that this class will continue to grow, more numbers possibly of students who are interested in taking it?
Yeah, I think it will. Like, I didn't even know what TV production class was until just before my senior year, so like after seeing it and then telling people and all the new equipment, I think everyone will be excited to be a part of it.
I think that once we make our videos and, you know, we do different things with it that no one thought we could do with it, then we can spread the word that it's a fun, exciting class and you get to use your creativity as much as you want, and it's truly, you know, your own.
All right, now I asked the previous set of students this as well. What's your favorite part of the class and some of the things that you may have already learned at this point?
Well, previously I took a trip to Washington, D.C., and for our Veterans Day assembly, our project was to do a PowerPoint, and I took pictures down there, different shots, and I got to use them in the PowerPoint, and to see how the audience reacted to some of the pictures I took was, you know, good to see that some people do appreciate what you do, and you try your best. That's all that matters.
Sure.
My favorite part is probably just getting to like learn something different. Like when you picture high school, you don't picture learning about TV and all that stuff. So it's probably just that experience. And also, Miss Coulter always tells us to look at TV, and now we recognize the different techniques. So it's just kind of cool.
Yeah, it'll. What may end up happening is you may end up watching TV differently, even movies differently than what you had before. Once you start seeing and understanding how some of this other stuff works, and I know in the past students have come to me and said, you know, it's kind of cool now because students that have graduated, moved on and graduated, because they say, you know, I know how I can look at things that I see on TV and kind of have an understanding or idea of how they did that or what they call, you know, the technique that they're using or something to that effect. So. All right, very good. We're going to take one last break, and then we're going to come back to discuss more about West Shamokin High School's new TV studio and their classes. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name's Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Tonight we are talking about the new West Shamokin High School TV studio equipment. We now are joined by the production teacher and former principal of the building, who is very helpful in getting this process going for us. Would you two please introduce yourself for our viewers at home?
Hi, I'm Karen Coulter. I teach English at West Shamokin High School, and I also teach TV production.
I'm Kirk Lurigan. I'm currently the principal at Katanning Junior High School, and I had spent 6 years prior as the assistant principal and principal at West Shamokin Junior Senior High School.
All right. Now, Mr. Lurigan, like you said, you were at West Shamokin High School, and you were a huge help in getting the process of the new studio started. Can you talk about some of the challenges that were being faced and why you saw this as an important step to take?
Most importantly, it was a project that I felt very passionately about, because I thought before our TV productions course was a great course, and it was done very well. But I thought that we could do more, and the space that we had, I needed to utilize the space for some other things due to some situations that we had. We were putting some teachers in there, and it just wasn't a great situation for our TV productions class to grow. And we did have a small room off the library that I had talked with you, Mr. Garetano, and Mrs. Coulter about, and thought that we could put together a nice little studio in there. And because it was a different type of course, and I like to encourage teachers and kids to think outside the box and to do some different things, I thought that this was a great place for us to start and put that TV studio in there.
Sure. Well, obviously I couldn't agree more with you on that. So, now Mrs. Coulter, could you talk a little bit about the previous setup from your standpoint? Because you were here last year, you know, so you saw a full year of how it was working and where we're at now. So.
Well, first I would like to thank Mr. Lorigan for his help that he gave us in growing the program and also facilitating the building to be able to have this extra room. This room has been incredibly helpful to us, and I know we'll talk about that later, Mr. Garetano. When it comes to the small studio that we used to have, we were in a small back room. It was hard when guests came to speak. We had to stop the production, have them slide in, and it made it really difficult when we had a number of people who wanted to slide into morning announcements and make an announcement. It also was too hot for the equipment. The equipment would sometimes really heat up, and it would be extremely warm in that particular room. In this way, we now have a setup where we have all of our equipment in the same facility. Before, we had in one small room, we had the equipment stored, and we had to enter through another classroom to get to that small room where we locked up the equipment. This time we have all of that valuable equipment all together with our cameras, all in the same room. And this makes it easier for the students to go in and do the work that they are to do for this class. And this never could have happened without the help of you, Mr. Garetano, or you, Mr. Lorigan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
More than welcome. Now, going into this a little bit further, how has this new studio helped you know, aid the class and the students who are now taking the class?
For the first time, the students will be able to go in during class time and sit in the room and edit their films. Before this, they did have to pass through another classroom. That room was not aired. It became very warm in there. This way they can go in. Somebody can be working with the cameras. Somebody else can be using the Telecaster, and they can be editing all in the same room, all at the same time. And it eases the production of films.
Sure. Now, the equipment was expensive, and I know that the project was partially funded by the ASD Foundation. And Mr. Lorigan, you sit on that board, so you have a little bit of an insight to that. But why did the foundation decide to go above and beyond to help fund this project?
The goal of the ASD Foundation is to enhance educational opportunities for kids and for students. And this project we felt very passionately about. Part of the role that we take is when these grants are applied for, which Mrs. Coulter applied for a $2,000 grant to help offset the costs of this room. We felt that as a foundation, we felt that if we could give her a little bit more and give some more money to that, one of our goals is to find teachers who are passionate about what they do, and Mrs. Coulter certainly meets that criteria, and also something that would help students and reach as many students as we could. That's all part of what we look at when we look at these grants. And so we decided as a foundation to enhance that and go to about $6,000, and we felt very passionately about it because of the importance of looking at innovative and new ideas and the kids really, what the kids can benefit the most. And we felt that this was a project that could really help them learn about some different things with technology and television and those types of things, because some of the things that we look at, we know the kids do every day. We know the kids drive every day. We know the kids use technology every day, and we know the kids watch TV a lot. And to get them an understanding of what goes into creating shows, creating films, creating movies, creating talk shows, everything else, we felt that was a very important part of what we could teach them.
Sure. Now, in both of your eyes here, why do you see this program as an important facet to the school and the district, and what benefits do you see that it serves?
Well, I see a plethora of all kinds of opportunities that this offers. First of all, as Mr. Lorigan said, so often students watch things on TV and they never really understand what they see. And this class affords them the opportunity to see how films can be doctored, and things that they think that they see that are really live and really are happening as they see it on TV is not really what has happened. And when they start to watch these shots, they can see how a director can manipulate any kind of footage to make it say what the director wants it to say. Having their eyes open to this can make them wiser viewers, and we need all of our people to be wiser viewers of what they see in media. That's one of the main purposes of the analysis of the information when we do that portion of the class. The other is they get a chance to duplicate what they see in the media. They're able now to create their own productions. They're able to show their own productions to the other students in the building. And this gives them also some wisdom about how everything works in the media. The more that they get this opportunity to be creative, to do things that other people get to see, the more they're rewarded, and they see that this is something that has great value. And this is something you can do even if it's not a career, for the rest of your life. They can use this knowledge to create videos of their own family. They can use this knowledge to create their own little mini movies and use their creative energy in many different ways. I think it just has a wealth of possibilities that they can bring forth as they continue to grow in this field.
I just think it's a fantastic program because it allows kids, first of all, allows students to take the opportunity to try something different outside the regular realm of what we usually offer in our electives. But most importantly, that if there is a student who's passionate about wanting to do these things, we encourage students as they come through the system to try new things, to learn, but also to explore careers. Sure. And if a student is very, very passionate about wanting to do something with filmmaking and things, I've known several students who have gone on in my time in the Armstrong School District to do some type of filmmaking and didn't have this type of class in the past. Sure. And now this allows a student with that passion to explore that, to use it, and to show their talents early. And I also think it's very important for kids and confidence. You know, kids get into things and students will set up and they maybe didn't ever think about getting in front of a camera before, and now they'll do that. And kids with confidence can make such a difference in our society, and we want those kids to be as successful as they can be, and I think this offers them that opportunity.
Sure.
And I think also our new studio offers them the opportunity to see what it's like to be in a real television studio. And this is a new experience. When students used to come down here to this studio and they would try to run all of the equipment down here and do all of the things that take place in this studio, all of the time they would come back and say, that was really an amazing experience. I never realized it worked like that. And I might like to take this on as a career choice, because the film industry has many different careers that are subsets that most people don't ever see. Being able to be in this studio did that for our students. Having a similar studio in our own building will help students who come in and speak and maybe make an announcement to see, oh, this is what this is really like. And they may then like to take the class. They may be afforded the opportunity to see the broadness of this technological field and perhaps pursue it on their own.
Sure. Now, either of you may have, actually, before I get there, Mrs. Coulter, maybe you've already hit on this a little bit, but what are some of your hopes and goals now that this new equipment is in place?
Well, I do hope that now we can broaden the perspective for the rest of the building, that they can see what a professional studio is like, that they have an opportunity to experience it even if they never take the class. I think that would be a good experience for any student to have. I have several seventh grade students who have said to me already, when may I take TV production? I just think that looks like such a cool class. The more people that come and are able to be in this class, the better for everybody in the population, because they'll be better discerners of media. And anytime we can help students see what they think they see differently, then perhaps we can broaden people's ability to interpret what they see, and they can be wiser viewers, since so many people spend so much time watching media in one form or another.
Sure. And you hit on a point that I hit on every time the opportunity comes up. Our society is completely developed, controlled, saturated with different types of media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, movies, TV. I mean, it's so much a huge part of society, and especially our students' lives growing up. They're becoming more and more immersed in it because of technology drives it that way, which has a lot of positives. It has negatives that they have to know about. This class will teach them some of those. but it has a lot of positives too in how it can help supplement their learning and education, obviously.
It also is a great outlet for creativity.
Sure.
Most of the time when people get involved in the actual making of a movie and they see all of the things that they could possibly do, they begin to become inspired by the creative element that is there. And they don't always realize it in a single year. And in fact, TV Production 2, which is a course that's also offered through Armstrong School District, that course is a year where they can then try all kinds of attempts at documentaries, at making their own music videos, at many different types of media that they can create on their own. These classes are essential if we want our students to be able to go out into the world and value what they see as a media source. They need to be able to know how to interpret what they see.
Exactly. That's a big key, interpreting what they see. So, now either of you may respond to this. How does this studio and class help to serve the school as a whole? And we hit on this a little bit, but
I think overall it's just a great program for the entire school. You know, the better the facility, the better the productions can be, and the more enthusiastic the kids, the students who are taking the course are going to be about it. And also, you know, this new equipment, you know, that's going to encourage a few other students to want to get in there and see what's going on and test the waters of this course. And you know, if we reach one student who didn't know what he wanted to do with his or her life, and now that this is something they become, you know, passionate about, then we've accomplished our goal. Right. And that's, you know, that's to reach as many students as we can through the process and through education. And I think that this new studio and this type of learning environment really does reach out to many kids and many students that perhaps otherwise we wouldn't have had that opportunity.
sure.
Last year we played several of our videos over morning announcements. It serves a couple of purposes. One, it lets us make PSAs so people can promote different charities, can promote different issues such as bullying. We don't want to promote bullying, of course, but to show them how sometimes people bully and they're not really aware that they're bullying. Sure. We used it to teach students about drinking and driving and how that is so incredibly dangerous last year. We did it to highlight our local areas. The students last year made a video about Dayton, and they showed the high spots of Dayton, and there are not a lot of high spots about Dayton, but they made it funny, and the kids could all relate. They were like, hey, that's where I live. And they then began to see the prospects that were available if you can make a video about it. Sure. We did many different things that went out over the airways. Kids got to see a lot of different creative things that were created right here in our own hometown. And they began to see and be inspired that, wow, this could happen to me. I could be a part of this and I could make my own videos just like these older students. So we're opening the door for many people to enjoy this opportunity.
Okay. Now, is there anything else that either of you would like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
I would just like to say it's absolutely a pleasure to see you again, as well as all of the students from West Shamokin. And I'm very glad to see and to hear that you guys are really enjoying this new TV productions equipment, and I thank you for being passionate about the program.
And I just would like to thank ASD Foundation for your very, very kind grant money that you gave to our school, and we will try to use it to the best of our ability to serve not only our own school but our community. And thank you so very much for that generous donation.
Thank you.
All right. That is our show for tonight. Our thanks goes out to the many TV production students from West Shamokin High School for not only being our film crew today, but also serving as our guests as well. I'd also like to thank Mr. Kirk Lorigan, now the Catania Junior High School principal, and Mrs. Karen Coulter, the West Shamokin High School TV production teacher, for also being guests and talking about the new studio at the high school. As always, DVD copies of this and all Education Today programming may be requested by contacting myself, Chris Garatano, ASD's multimedia technician at Catania Junior High School. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated news and information about the district, and have a great week.